What are the best socks to hike in? My last video, we went over my walking shoes, and these are my two favorite pairs of boots to walk in. These ones are lightweight. They're great in the summer with a synthetic sock just to keep my feet cool. And these are much better in the winter with a thicker, heavier weight wool sock just to help keep my feet warm and keep me toes toasty. So in that video, I went into the different kinds of boots and given some tips. So if you didn't see it, check it out. See if there's some things in there that could help you. But in this video, we're going to talk a wee bit about the socks and how important it is for your feet to have good socks. Now, there's lots of individual socks out there, and I'll just keep flipping this forth. So these are the kind of socks that came in an individual pack. And if you really want the best quality socks that's out there, that's how you're going to find them. You're going to know which ones they are because they're going to have a really high wool blend mix in the fabric. And you're going to find that they come in a single pack. And the other way that you're going to know is that they're going to be crazy expensive for one pair of socks. That's another reason how you're going to know that you're getting into the high-end socks. So what I like is I really like these merino wool blend socks from Costco. I think they're a great sock. And like I said in the previous video, when I find something that I like, I buy a whole bunch of them. And that's what I did with these guys. So I can keep some. So what are the benefits to getting the really high-end socks? Well, if you're going to do an emergency preparedness bag, I would recommend it. I would recommend that you get a pair of these really nice high-end socks and put them in your bag. And there's nothing like brand new socks. I know with the boots, the hiking shoes, the boots, whatever you want to say, it's really nice to break them. And with socks, you actually, in my opinion, you don't want to. At least I never do. I always want to have a couple of brand new, fresh pairs in my bag. Because if I get walking, over a period of time, the fabric will get compressed. So what I like to do is, especially if it's dry, just change them out. Just, walk in them for a few hours, take them off, let them air out, change out, just scrunch them up a little bit, get some aeration into the socks, put the other ones on and keep doing that. It really helps your feet a lot. But here's something that's really important when it comes to socks, is you have to make sure you're getting the right fit. The heel, where the toes and the heel and the socks show, and every pair of socks pretty much shows your toes and heels, you got to make sure that those line up with your feet. I see people buying socks and the heel is like halfway up their the top of the foot or whatever the case is, and it's not lined up with the heel at all. Those are not great socks. Those are too long. You're probably going to have a little bit of extra fabric build up, and then that will have pressure points, and then in the pressure points you're going to get blisters, and that's a bad problem. So get the socks to fit. A lot of those really high-end socks actually come in a shoe size. So if you're going to spend that much money, get the ones that actually fit your feet. And don't mess around with this. If you're spending that much money to buy those individual high-end socks, get the ones that fit your feet. Don't get ones a little bit too big or a little bit too small just because they're on sale or something's happening. Make sure you get the right ones. So what are some of the big factors? Well, like I said, breathability. So here's what's interesting is wool actually breathes better than synthetic. So, but synthetic will dry out pretty quickly if you get it wet. So it's kind of interesting that you would almost want to have those benefits in reverse, because with wool you're going to get a much better heat, even if they get wet. And that's the benefit of wool, is the wool will lock in the water and it'll actually heat. It's a natural fabric. It's a natural product. And obviously the wool kept the sheep warm whether they were wet or cold or dry. So it does the same thing for your feet in your boot. Even if they do get wet, they're going to actually keep your feet nice and warm. And if I'm going to have to walk in wet feet, wet shoes, wet socks, I'd at least want my feet to be warm. So that's the big benefit that I believe that wool blend socks have over a synthetic blend, even though the synthetic blend will dry out pretty quick. So here's something you could do. Is you could get yourself a pair of wool socks and you could get yourself a pair of synthetic socks and you could go ahead and put them in your bag. So that way you've got a pair of each. And if you're interchanging them like I'm suggesting, if you know you're kind of getting into some wet weather and you want to put on the synthetic because you know they're going to get wet but dry out quicker, then go ahead, get through the main part of the rain, get those wet, take them off, let them dry out, and then get your wool socks on. And especially if your feet have been wet for a while, now the wool will keep your feet nice and toasty. It'll be nice and warm. So I like a wee tip I like is if you know you're going to do this, if you're going to change out your socks, which I highly recommend you change out your socks. Never just, even if you spend like $30-$40 for a pair of socks, really high-end socks, never just have that one pair. You always want to change out. So what I like to do is you can wear them inside your gear, wear them close to your body. Now, if you're sweating heavily, you don't want to wear them somewhere where they're going to get wet. So you can even just put them in along some kind of a waterproof liner, but keep them close to your body. That way they're going to warm up. Another trick that I learned when I was in basic training is to sleep on your wet clothing. And it really helps to dry it out quite a bit and warms it up. So at least that way, if you are putting on wet clothing in the morning, at least it's warmed up and hopefully dry. But yeah, it wasn't always dry, but it definitely felt a little bit better with being warmer than being cold. So obviously you want to have a waterproof sleeping bag or a sleeping bag that has a waterproof underlayer, so that you're not getting everything wet in your kit, in your sleeping bag or anything else. So keeping it close to your body when you're hiking, keeping your feet warm. Breathability, if you're moving in the summer, is a big deal, which is why I like to have different pairs of shoes. I like to have a heavier shoe that does really well. I even have insulated boots that do really well in the winter. And then I have a nice lightweight, shoe like these Osbos that I was showing earlier, that I was showing earlier. And they're just a great shoe, keep my feet well ventilated, and practice. So the important thing is, you might not have all the good gear, but here's what you can do is practice. And I suggested when I was talking about the boots in my last video is walk around barefoot on as many different surfaces as you possibly can, because that will toughen up your skin. So if you do have to walk and you get those nice plush socks in there and you get those nice boots, your feet are actually going to feel like they're in heaven for the first while. And if you keep taking them off, shaking them out, getting them aerated, letting whatever smells in there, letting it get aired out. Every time you put those on, your feet are going to feel that little extra boost. And it's really going to help, because sometimes you're walking over a long distance and you're just miserable. You're going to get that wee extra boost of just really giving your feet that little extra bit of padding and comfort. Let me know if there's anything in here that you find, helpful. If there's anything else you want to add, go ahead and stick it in the comments. And hey, thanks for checking out my videos. Like and subscribe.